Have you ever finally gathered the courage to open up to someone you loved only to regret it later? Maybe you told him about your insecurities. Maybe you shared a childhood wound. Maybe you admitted your fears, or maybe you told him about a struggle you had never told anyone else. And then, one day during an argument, he used it against you. Suddenly, the very thing you trusted him with became a weapon. And now, you don't want to open up anymore. You don't want to be vulnerable anymore. You tell yourself, never again. If you are a firstborn daughter and this sounds familiar, today's video is for you, because I want to talk about what happens when vulnerability becomes painful and how to heal without closing your heart forever. Hi, I'm Cynthia. I help firstborn daughters fulfill their role without carrying the weight through intentional living. If you are ready to become more intentional about your healing and growth, comment Reset Guide below and I will send you the link to download a free Firstborn Daughter Reset Guide that I've created to help you move from survival mode to intentional living. Let's talk about it. In personal development, vulnerability is the willingness to show up and be seen exactly as you are, even when you cannot control the outcome. One thing many people don't understand about firstborn daughter is vulnerability is usually not easy for us. Many firstborn daughters grew up being the strong ones, the child who learned very early that people depended on her. For years, being strong felt safe. Being in control felt safe. So when a firstborn daughter finally opens up, it's a big deal. She's not simply sharing information. She is taking off the armor she has worn for years. She is trusting someone with the part of herself she normally keeps hidden. And when that trust is broken, the pain runs deep. Not because she's weak, but because vulnerability already required tremendous courage. Maybe you've experienced this. You told him, I struggle with self-confidence. Later, during an argument, he says, that's because you are insecure. You shared a childhood wound. Later, it becomes ammunition. You admitted a fear. Later, it throws it back at your face. The issue is not conflict. Every relationship experiences conflict. The issue is when someone takes what you entrusted to them and uses it to win an argument. That creates emotional damage. Now, your mind begins making a dangerous conclusion. Opening up is dangerous. People cannot be trusted. I should keep everything to myself. This is where many firstborn daughters get stuck. After being hurt, they become even stronger, or at least they appear stronger. They raise a shield around them. They stop sharing. They stop asking for help. They stop expressing needs. They stop letting people in. They tell themselves, nobody will hurt me like that again. But here's the problem. The wall that protects you from being hurt also prevents you from being deeply loved. The armor that protects you also isolates you. This is what I want to tell you. You are not struggling because you are stubborn. You are struggling because your nervous system learned that opening up comes with a cost. It's dangerous. If every time you shared a fear, an insecurity, a mistake, a weakness, or a childhood wound, and he later used it against you during an argument, then your withdrawal makes sense. Trust was damaged and it cannot be restored by pretending nothing happened. If you've been hurt, don't force yourself to become vulnerable overnight. But don't close yourself off completely either. Start small. Many firstborn daughters think vulnerability is all or nothing. But healthy vulnerability happens in layers. You don't have to tell someone your deepest wound immediately. Think of vulnerability as a ladder, not a cliff. Instead of sharing your deepest wound, start with smaller things. Like, that conversation hurt me. Then observe. How does he respond? Does he listen or does he dismiss it? Does he mock you or use it later against you? His response, his attitude or reaction provides information. Remember, vulnerability should deepen as trust deepens. Trust should grow as trustworthiness is demonstrated. This is a concept I teach often. Not everyone deserves full access to your inner world immediately. Even in marriage, rebuilding trust may require stages. Watch actions, not promises. Many men will say, "I didn't mean it," "You are overreacting," or "Okay, I'll stop." The real question is, what happens over the next few months after he apologized? Trust is rebuilt through consistent behavior, not apologies alone. A firstborn daughter especially needs evidence, because many of us have spent years learning words are nice, but consistency is safer. You don't have to pretend that what happened didn't hurt. You also don't have to shut your heart forever. Your responsibility is not to become harder. Your responsibility is to become wiser. Give trust in proportion to trustworthiness. Communicate clearly and watch actions. Give him the opportunity to grow, but don't ignore patterns that continue. Healthy love is not built on blind trust. It's built on earned trust. Understand that forgiveness and trust are not the same thing. You can forgive someone today, but trust is rebuilt gradually over time through consistent behavior. If you are a firstborn daughter who has built walls around her heart because the last time you were vulnerable, someone used it against you, I understand. I've been there too. But your vulnerability was never the weakness. The weakness was the person who saw your wounds, your fears, your insecurities, and chose to use them against you. Don't let someone's inability to handle your vulnerability to convince you that your heart must remain hidden forever. Don't punish yourself for someone else's inability to handle with care what you entrusted to them. The goal is not to stop opening your heart. The goal is to learn who is safe enough to hold it. Healing is not about becoming harder. It's about becoming wiser. It's learning how to combine vulnerability with discernment. It's learning that you can be strong and still allow yourself to be seen. The goal is to become a woman who is strong enough to be honest, wise enough to set boundaries, and secure enough to let safe people see the real her. Tell me in the comments, have you ever had your vulnerability used against you? And what did that experience teach you? Don't forget to write reset guide in the comment below, and I will send you the link to your free firstborn daughter reset guide. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.